What's up, guys? Welcome back to Alvar Sports Pod. My name is Gogo. Let's get started. So, we had the draft this past weekend. Went good. Overall, was great. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Um, Starting with the Jaguars. So the Jaguars traded up to the number two pick, which the Browns hold the rights to that, and they selected Travis Hunter. I don't have a problem with Travis Hunter. He's one hell of a player, and he's probably one of the top players of this draft class. So my issue with the Jaguars is giving up a future number one for next season. I only say that because Trevor Lawrence hasn't done anything. Um, he's making 55 million a season, and I can tell you he's not worth 55 million a season, but that's what the quarterback market is. So that's kind of I see it as disappointing. I get it. Travis Hunter is a hell of a player, but I don't think it was worth the future number one. But you got to do what you got to do. Next one is the Falcons. They traded back into the first round with the Rams, and they also gave up a future number one. Falcons always do this weird crap. Um, Last year they drafted Penix, which in hindsight they were correct about Penix because Kirk Cousins did not look like he was healthy. So I'll give him a pass on that. But they drafted James Pierce. I guess he's rated as the third edge rusher. So we'll see in 2 years how he pans out. But he gave up a first. And the Falcons and the Jets, the Falcons and the Jags have not been good. At least they haven't been good. Let's just put it that way. They haven't been good. So now the Rams have a number one pick and the Browns have a number one pick. So next season, both of these teams are more likely to acquire a top quarterback because next year's class supposedly is going to be a lot better in quarterbacks this upcoming draft than this last draft. Um, so good for them, honestly. To acquire two, they both have top capital now to acquire a top quarterback. They're probably going to set their franchises straight. Although with the Browns, we never know, honestly. The other team I want to talk about was Las Vegas Raiders. This feels like they finally have some adults in the room. Honestly, I've never seen this team since I've been a kid watching them. It's always been a circus. So it looks like they finally have adults. And their draft was great. We'll see in 2 years how it looks, obviously, because we don't. You see all these people giving draft grades, and they haven't even hit the field yet. So, one of the players that I liked or watching before getting drafted was Jack Besh. This guy looks like another Hunter Renfro 2.0, but he's a lot bigger. So if you don't know his story, let's go watch his story on Jack Besh. His story is very sad. It made me cry. And he's also the only reason I watched the Senior Bowl because this past Senior Bowl was crap. And somehow this guy was just tearing it up. So good on the Raiders finally having some adults in the room, and I think that's the Tom Brady effect where there's adults that are running the show because we've seen how many coaches and GMs with the Raiders. So hopefully, and it looks like with this draft, the way they were building it, they did pass on Shador, which I'm going to get on Shador later, a little bit later. They did pass on Shador so many times, and it looks like the way they built this draft is that they're shooting for the playoffs. And they're trying to get to the playoffs where Pete Carroll has a 3-year window, and they're trying to make the most of it, and they're going for it. So good on them. I also like the GM. It's kind of weird. I've never seen this before, but this GM pretty much thanked everybody in the front office that was helping throughout the draft. I've never seen anything like that, so that's pretty cool to see. Hunter Renfro. Speaking of Hunter Renfro, he just signed with the Panthers. Good to see him back. It's been a while. He took last season off, And he doesn't have to travel far because I think he lives in South Carolina. So good for him. He'll be closer to home. So good on him. Good to see him back. Next is Derek Carr. So I saw on X there was a video of him circling on X that he was giving a service at a church in Las Vegas, and he was pretty much saying that his shoulder is hurt. It's not a fake injury. The New Orleans Saints have the MRI results, and it looks like his injury is not fake. So I guess we can all stop saying that his injury is fake. But it's the NFL. Everyone's gonna say a bunch of crap, and yeah. Shador Sanders. Let's start with this one. I'm gonna admit I was wrong. I thought he would go in the first round in the top picks, and clearly I was wrong. I'll admit to it. He ended up going to the fifth round to the Browns. Now, when he went to the fifth round to the Browns, this pick looked like it was forced by ownership. Because if you look on live TV where they announced the pick, Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski look very angry and just annoyed, like, why are we doing this? But if you know who Jimmy Haslam is, he'll make those decisions. So I think that was more of Jimmy doing his things. So looks like it was a forced pick. We'll see how it works with Shador and the Cleveland Browns. But as for Shador, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. No, Saturday. There was a report saying that he had gone to the Giants' private workout, and that his private workout with Brian Dable didn't go good. That Shador wasn't prepared, and Brian Dable called him out on it, and Shador didn't like that. And from that point, it looks like that was the downfall. Most teams took him off the board for his antics, and honestly, nobody wants a backup quarterback with all this paparazzi and camera crap. So I think that's why Shador fell. It fell. It has nothing to do with race. I don't even know where that narrative came. That's just so stupid to me. But yeah, so clearly the Giants. That's why the Giants drafted the other quarterback. And what is? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Jackson Dart. They ended up drafting Jackson Dart. Um, we'll see how it goes for Jackson Dart. Um, if you're Brian Dable and Joe Shane, you're pretty much hoping that it works out perfectly fine. Because if it doesn't, they're gone. That's point blank. They're gone. They're not. They gotta. At this point, I think they have to even shoot for the playoffs to keep their damn jobs. Because I don't see Mara keeping them. Jumping back to the Browns. So the quarterback room. They have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, which they drafted earlier. I think it was the third. Was it third or fourth? Third. I think. What around then? Looks like it was, yeah, in the third round. So you have Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, and Deshaun Watson. Now, Deshaun Watson's a different story. Um, he's not gonna play this season because he ruptured his Achilles again. So that's done. So we have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. Now, if Shador can magically prove everybody wrong, I think he can compete for the number one position against Joe Flacco. Because Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, I don't see it. I didn't think he was gonna get drafted at 3, but he did. So honestly, if Shador wants to take it seriously, the job can probably be his. And if the Browns, for some reason, these quarterbacks don't work out, like I said earlier, they have 2 number 1 picks. So if this season flops, most likely Jimmy Haslam is gonna fire everybody, hire somebody new. That new person will draft a new quarterback, and then Jimmy Haslam will probably do the same damn thing, ruin another quarterback's career, and so on and so on. And that's pretty much all I have for the draft. Overall, like I said, it was great. Some teams had success, some teams had questionable decisions. We'll see in 2 years how everybody's draft class pans out, because if you look online and all this stuff, everybody's getting A's, B's, and all this crap. Like, dude, they haven't even started. They haven't even hit the field. How do we know? How do we know these players are going to pan out? So we'll see. I'll jump into the NBA. So the NBA playoffs, the first round series has not been competitive. It's just been mostly one-sided, but the exception of one series, which is Clippers versus Nuggets. It's the only competitive series. That's it, and that's sad, dude. Like, you guys had the NBA playoffs has to have a lot of parity. It's not like unfortunately, it's not like the NFL where these games are so freaking tight, like they go back and forth, and the NBA is just not like that for some reason. And jumping to the other team that's down, the Lakers are down 3-1 to the T-Wolves. And this is not a good look for the NBA because you have two superstars, Luka and LeBron. So if the Lakers get eliminated, I think the ratings for the NBA are going to drop because you have two superstars out. It's not a good look. So hopefully the Lakers can dig their freaking head out of the dirt and move up, win a damn game at least or something. But it's not looking good so far because if they're down 3-1. And the Warriors are up 2-1 against the Rockets. We'll see how it goes. I think Jimmy Buckets is still hurt. Like I said with Steve Kerr, young kids, for some freaking reason, it doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. You have assistants, you have coaches, like, there has to be a reason why. You just can't be pushing kids and expecting all these old ass players to continue and continue and continue. It doesn't work like that. You have to, at the same time, you can have Steph Curry, but you also have to get younger, and the other players have to ball out too. And that's not happening for whatever freaking reason. Like, somebody needs to be questioned for this. And jumping to hockey, hockey has been more competitive than the NBA. My Winnipeg Jets that I took to win the Stanley Cup have taken 2 L's. So I need them to bounce back because I have a freaking huge future bet. So good on hockey. It seems with hockey is more competitive than more than NBA. Jump into boxing. So we have 3 cards. So the first one's Friday in Times Square, New York. Never seen a fight in Times Square. I wish I could go, but I don't think. I think people are not paying tickets, or I don't know how that works. But I think people could just walk up to the ring because it's gonna be in Times Square. So you have Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza. I'm taking Ryan Garcia by KO, and I'm taking Devin Haney by decision, Teofimo by decision. Now, Ryan Garcia's been out. Devin Haney's been out for a good while too, because ever since, Ryan supposedly took PEDs and Devin's been out from that. So even though they said the fight doesn't count, to me it does count. Devin lost. That's pretty much it. You can deny it all you want. He lost, but yeah. And then Teofimo versus Arnold Barboza. I think that one might be closer, but I'm still taking Teofimo. So it'll be cool to be it'll be in Times Square, New York, which is pretty cool. And hopefully, no, I think that's after the Ryan fight, we'll have Ryan versus Devin Haney, which I think the outcome will still be the same. Ryan's probably gonna knock out freaking Devin. Devin has a weak ass chin. Who else? And that fight's Friday. And then Saturday is Canelo versus Skull. I'm taking Canelo by decision. He hasn't knocked out anyone lately. And with that win, Canelo will be undisputed, which will set up the Terrence Crawford fight. So that should be a big mega fight on Mexican Independence Day. And following that, it'll be Jaime Munguia versus Bruno. Bruno? I can't remember his last name. Bruno. Anyways, Jaime got knocked out by Bruno in a wild freaking 6-round KO. So I'm gonna take Jaime Munguia by KO revenge match. So I have Jaime. And then also UFC's this weekend too. We have UFC 315. Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Della Mandela. My gosh, I botched his name. Jack Della Mandela. I'm saying his name wrong. Anyways, Bilal versus Jack. And I'm not a Bilal Muhammad fan. His fights are snooze fest to me. So I hope Jack wins. I can't stand Bilal. I don't even know how he's freaking champion, but he's champion, so we're just gonna accept him. Another champion is Valentina versus Manon. I think I botched her name too. Give me Valentina. I'll take her for victory, and then hopefully I think if Valentina wins, I think might have what's her name? Zhang. So hopefully we have Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko. That would be a great fight to make. I don't know if it should be number one like main card fight, because honestly UFC female fights have been terrible lately. So, and then last fight is on Sunday. This one's disappointing. The whole buildup of this fight has been crap, because I barely just noticed that there was gonna be a fight on Sunday. On the only reason I noticed was cause my cousin told me there's gonna be a fight on Sunday, and Bob Arum does this stupid crap. Why couldn't you just push it to next weekend? Why on Sunday of all days? So Inoue versus Cardenas is on Sunday. First time Inoue is in the United States. If you don't know who Inoue is, he's basically the monster. He pretty much knocks everyone out. So with that being said, I'm taking Inoue by knockout. Simple as that. Hopefully next time, when Inoue comes to the States, please push it on a Saturday or maybe a Friday. But don't do it on a Sunday, dude. That's just so stupid to me. Like, I think the Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero is going to generate more money. Canelo versus Skull, we know how much Canelo puts out numbers. That's probably going to take majority. And then you have this fight, which I don't even know if it's a pay-per-view. Let's see. I don't think it is. No, it's not a pay-per-view. So, yeah. Honestly, that's just disappointing. It's stupid to me, honestly. Anyways, guys, that's all I have. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Comment whatever the heck you want. Tell me something. Tell me how your day's going.